Hey guys, thank you so much for hopping on our team call November 2nd. We are on a call with Jillian Kaplan, who is a five-star diamond, two-time elite coach, who recently is a trauma survivor. She'll share her story with you guys. It's incredible. I actually met Jillian in the Quarter Force test group. And she had gotten injured right before we started that test group. So she was in the group with us, but we were kind of just cheering her on. And then she started finally being able to work out, and like her transformation was incredible. But she's also a full-time employee, and she'll tell you more about that as well. But I wanted to, Sheena asked if we could do a call with someone who is a full-time employee and does not plan on leaving their job whatsoever to work Beachbody, but is also doing this and will not be quitting Beachbody because they have a paying job on this side. So I immediately thought of Jillian because I know that she had said something about it in the past in the group that we were in, and so I reached out to her, and she is graciously on this call with us because she also has a newborn baby, so I know that she is busy. So thank you so much, Jillian, for being on, and I'm just going to go ahead and toss it over to you.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for having me. Sorry, my Zoom was being slow logging on, and right as you were pinging me, it let me on. So excited to be here. Rachel, I sent this presentation over to you, right? Okay, so I don't know if she shared it with you guys, but if you can't write fast enough, don't worry. Rachel has it. I'm sure if she didn't share it yet, she will. So as Rachel said, I am going to share my screen with you. I am a full-time employee. Can you guys see that? Yes. Okay, great. I'm a full-time employee, which means that I love PowerPoint. I'm a 9-to-5 girl. I work at a Fortune 10 company. I have a pretty high pressure job, and I love what I do at Beachbody, and I love what I do at my full-time job. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell my story and a little bit about my background and how I started, because I think that's really important, and also about my trauma, which is a more recent development. Like Rachel said, we met in the Quarter Force test group, which I was not able to participate in at the last minute because of my accident. And that was like a year ago. So it's part of my story, but it wasn't why I started this journey. But it's pretty powerful, especially my recovery and, how being healthy and, having fitness associated really helped me. So I'm going to tell you about how I started. So I was a girl that was overweight her entire life. I was a serial yo-yo dieter, binge eater, diet pill addict, you name it. I tried it. I would lose weight and then I would come back because those things don't work in the long term, right? What we have, I truly believe, is the ultimate solution. We are not a fad. We are not a crash diet. I'm not going to wrap you in cellophane. This is what we do, and we're here to stay. So, while you may see all these high carb, low fat, I don't even know, I can't even keep track. This is the ultimate solution. So, you'll see my overall transformation on the left, and then like on the right, you'll see a program transformation. That's from 21 Day Fix Extreme with the Countdown to Competition plan. Just a little plug in for that. If anyone's feeling stuck or hit a plateau, I highly recommend you guys try that plan out. It's amazing. I was very stuck. I had already lost a lot of weight when I started that plan, but I was still kind of rolly and wanted to get more definition, and I saw huge results with that. So when I started as a customer. I had just tried the Advocare 24-day challenge, and I gained 6 pounds, didn't go to the bathroom for 9 days. I'm pretty sure that's not how that was supposed to work. So when my now coach started posting about Shakeology, I'm a Google girl, so I got on, started Googling it, and I had really bad IBS, and I had read that it helps with digestion, and I was like, I'm living on laxative. I'm willing to try anything. And that's how I got started. And then I found out you could save money as a coach, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to save money. And then people started to notice my transformation, and that's how I got into working the business. I was a customer starting in March 2014. I became a coach in June 2014, and my team hit elite in 2015 and 2016, which is like amazing. So my business took off pretty fast once I just started to work. Like I said, for a month or so, I did pretty much nothing until I realized this was a real opportunity. So I had all these amazing years. I went to Summit in 2016, like on top of the world. I had, finished 2015 as an elite team. I remember being in Summit at Summit in 2015. I had one coach with me, and I couldn't afford a hotel room. So we stayed on in his friend's spare bedroom, and dogs set their dog in order, like in exchange for, a place to stay essentially. And in 2016, I had a whole team with me, and I was able to rent us a house, and we were elite, and I'm walking across stage. It was like mind blowing. So that was like late July 2016. And then I got back from Summit, and I'm sure Rachel remembers this too. And right after we Summit, we got the email for Core de Force. And I jumped off the couch. I think my husband thought I won the lottery. I was so excited. That's like a dream board thing. And I was like, ready. I was on Beachbody high, right? Elite team, amazing experience at Summit, test group participant. And then August 10th, I was out walking my dog before work, like I do every single day. And I was crossing a crosswalk about 8 a.m. and I got hit by a car at full speed. I had emergency brain surgery to save my life. I shattered my pelvis, my face, my sternum, and my sacrum. And there was question on if I would survive. And then once I kind of pulled through, they didn't know if I would be able to walk again. And this is sort of my journey through that. You can see my sweet haircut from the brain surgery. This side is still extensions. And you can see they had like drilled a fixator into my pelvis. So that thing was drilled through my skin and stabilizing my pelvis. And then my results from when I was finally able to start Core de Force 3 months after my accident, my first round, I didn't actually gain a lot of weight. But when you don't, I was in a wheelchair for like 2.5 months, and I wasn't allowed to stand. I was allowed to pivot in and out to go to the bathroom. So when you don't stand, you kind of lose your butt and your abs. You don't realize how much you use those things to stand up. So, not only did I survive, and not only did I walk again, but 3 months later, I was starting my first challenging Beachbody program. Core de Force isn't exactly like a super beginner program. And then like 4 months after my accident, I got pregnant, very excitedly, unexpectedly. I had suffered from miscarriage and infertility before my accident, and then I crushed my pelvis into my uterus, and they were like, yeah, this probably isn't happening. And and then I got pregnant, which is just crazy and exciting. And I had a baby 5 weeks ago. So if I'm not a good poster child for taking care of yourself and good health, I don't know what is. And this is why I really feel like what we do is special, and we can really help people. I'm not saying that everyone's going to go out and get hit by a car tomorrow and needs to, be healthy for that. But there's so many things that good health can help you with. The doctors have said if I wasn't in good shape, I probably wouldn't have survived, because your body can't sustain that much trauma. And I definitely wouldn't have walked again. I have no pain in my pelvis. I have no pain anywhere. If you saw me, I don't hobble. I don't like have any sort of weirdness in my walk. Like I'm so lucky, and I owe it to this company essentially, and being able to take care of myself. So I really want you guys to think about that and what we do and how amazing it can be. Yes, it's great to fit in your skinny jeans, but what we do is so much more than that. Okay. We really can save people. We really can help people, and we really can change people's lives. Like I said, this isn't a fad. So, we see those fads come and go. We're not going anywhere, because what we do is healthy eating, exercise, good nutrition. I mean, that's not a fad. That's reality. So that's kind of my background, and a little bit about my story has kind of nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but I think it's always really important to understand where people are coming from. So I'm going to go through my power hour with you. I work about an hour a day during the week and probably 5 to 10 hours on the weekend. So about 10 to 15 hours a week. And I'm able to make a secondary full-time income. And I do that by staying super focused. I'm going to show you what I do every day. So what do I do every week? I write out my power hour to-do list, which I can tell you is pretty much the same every single day. On the weekends, when I put in that extra time is when I do things like newsletters or put together groups or like that bookkeeping kind of stuff that I have to do. During the week, it's just my vital behaviors, because that is what's going to move my business forward. So I write out my goals. I read and listen to personal development. Sometimes I'm listening to personal development while I'm in the car, while I'm walking my dogs, or while I'm cooking dinner. It depends on my schedule. I work on me and I lead by example. I'm the product of the product. So even though I have a 5-star team, I still spend 90% of my time on my own business, because what I share with my team is what's working for me or what's not working for me. I have to practice what I preach. So I have to be moving my business forward and saying to them, hey, this post worked really well, or this post didn't. So that's really what I'm sharing with them. I'm not, managing them. I'm just sharing that information with them. I have the right mindset and intentions. I want to help people without expecting anything in return. I'm going to show you my calendar and sort of how I do a lot of free groups and how I do that. And the last thing I have as a to-do is no excuses and no complaining. So top coaches, you notice they're men, women, moms, dads. Some of them have an education, some of them don't. Some of them work, some of them don't. They're totally different. They're from Canada, US, background. Everything is different, except they own when things go wrong. So if they're going for a goal and they don't hit it, they're not saying like, oh, wow, I missed that goal because I was really busy with, my kids' soccer. You can't put the blame on other things. You have to own it. I signed up for a training, my first paid training that I signed up for. And one of my coaches is doing it with me. And she said to me, did you get through module two yet? And I said, no. And then instead of like rattling off a bunch of reasons why this week was crazy, I just said it wasn't a priority. So sometimes you just have to own when things don't go perfectly right. And I think that's really, really, really important. So what do I do in this power hour? I add people to my network every day. I return all my messages. I talk about the business, Shakeology, my challenge group, and I stay really focused throughout the week. So I'll show you my calendar on the next slide, and I'm going to show you kind of how I focus each week on specific things, either a challenge group or coaching or a free group, so that I'm not like remember that movie Up where he's like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel? I'm not like that. I'm like very focused in what I'm talking about that week. I invite people every single day to whatever group I'm starting, and I always have something starting. I follow up with people. I make a to-do list, what I need to do the next day. I post on my team page. I'm very spastic about this. Like I said, I'm not like writing out amazing things. I'm mostly sharing what's working for me and what's not, and what groups we have coming up, all that kind of stuff. I post on my Facebook and Instagram. Those are my two platforms. If you're using Pinterest and YouTube, you would want to do that. Whatever platforms you're using, those are my main two. I usually tell people to pick two to be, intentional about, and make sure you're consistent on them. I put the business in front of 3 to 5 people every single week. And this is what I do every day, every day, every day, every day. And I take breaks, absolutely, but I tell my audience when I'm taking a break. So if I'm going on vacation and I'm going off the grid, which I do, and I will tell you on the Beachbody cruise in 2016, I turned off my phone and literally carried around an old school camera because I was going to unplug that week. And I told my audience, hey, I'm unplugging, and they're respectful of that. What you can't do if you want to keep moving your business forward is just not show up for 3 days and not tell anyone, right? Because what happens is not only do you have to like start over, but you've confirmed what your audience originally thought, which is, oh, this was just some fad she was doing and she faded away. And you have to rebuild trust, right? People work with people they know, like, and trust. And if they know and like you, but they don't trust you, that's going to be a problem. So not only is it more difficult for you because you have to pick up, but it's also you have to like reestablish that relationship and show them this wasn't just something you were just trying for the day or whatever. So that's really important. Consistency is definitely key. Not having 30 hours a day, or it's not even 30, but not having 5 hours a day to work this business isn't detrimental. Not being consistent is. So this is an old team calendar that I just put on a slide so I had it. So the first Monday of every single month, I run a free group, and I run it in an ongoing free group I've had. So what I was doing previous to 2017 was opening and closing groups every single month. And I found that to be a huge waste of my time, and I was losing people. Didn't work for me. So you can choose to do it however you want, but I have one big free group. It's ongoing, and then the first Monday of every month, we do a little challenge in it. This month, we're doing Clean Week starting Monday. So the week leading up to that challenge, I am going to be talking about Clean Week that whole week. I'm going to be dropping breadcrumbs, like little things about people that did it last time, maybe how much weight they lost. And then I'm going to be doing calls to action. So probably breadcrumbs every day, and then twice throughout the week, calls to action where I actually invite people to join me on social media. But all week I'm inviting and messaging behind the scenes also. And then the Monday after that group, I'm starting my challenge group. So then I can look at who was in my free group that I think would be a good fit for my challenge group, and I can invite them. I already know they're interested in health and fitness because they've joined my free group. And then I have kind of a list to invite to for my challenge group. Makes my job a lot easier. And then the week after that, or 2 weeks after that, depending on how the calendar goes, I'm going to run a sneak peek into coaching group where I am going to have people who I think might make good coaches. So challengers that I see that are rocking the challenge group or being active or whatever, I'm going to start to invite them to my sneak peek and say, hey, I think you'd make a great coach. Do you want to join us? So what this does is it allows me to stay super focused. So the week leading up to my free group, I'm talking about that. That starts, I start talking about my challenge group. That starts, I start talking about coaching. That starts, and I start the cycle over, right? So it helps you stay super focused. I know when I started, I don't know if you guys are in a bigger team page, but I was in a couple of really big team pages like TKO, which is Brandy Botts' team. I'm way down in her downline. And I would see people post this challenge and that challenge. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to join that. I'm going to join that. And then I felt so overwhelmed with actually participating in this stuff that I didn't really know what I was doing. But having kind of, and if people are doing a cool challenge, like I saw someone post about mason jar clean eating. So I talked to the person. I said, hey, can I get a copy of your meal plan or your post outline? And then I'm going to run it on my own for maybe my next free group. But what I'm not going to do is start to add it into my calendar and like try to fit in another thing. If you're going for like top coach or 15-star diamond, are you going to be able to like do it in 15 hours a week? I don't know. I'm not top coach. I'm not 15-star diamond, but I can tell you that you can build a very solid full-time income on the side in less than 40 hours a week if you're super focused on what you're doing and if you're really intentional and consistent. So like I said, this is old, but like you'll see the sales were on here. We had Team Cup that February. But this makes my life a lot easier because I can very easily stay focused on what I'm talking about. So like if you were watching me last week, I was talking about coaching all last week, and I did calls to action on Thursday and Sunday because my What is Coaching webinar started Monday, or my What is Coaching group started Monday. And now I'm talking about Clean Week, because we're starting Clean Week this Monday, and that will start, and then I'll start talking about my challenge group. So it makes things really, really easy for me, in my opinion. You can run your calendar however you want, but it's important to have a calendar and something to stick to, so you know what you're going to be inviting to. Okay, so I talked a lot about, I'm not looking at the chat, so if I'll look at it as soon as we're done, I promise. But I talked a lot about talking to people and inviting them, which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with and they don't want to do. They want to just put a post up and hope that someone responds and wants to join them, right? So let's talk about conversation starters. Compliment, comment, question. That's a great way to start a conversation with them. So, I love that red hat. I have one just like it. Where did you get it? Where'd you get yours? Really easy, right? You can ask general questions, more personal questions. Have you considered? How long have you been into? Would you rather blank or blank? What have you tried in the past? What's your best advice for? What would you recommend? And that goes for posts too. It's really good to ask questions to get engagement. Use their name. Okay. This is key. Han and Babe is cute, but I think that in this day and age where people are getting a lot of like spammy messages, it almost confirms that it's spammy when you say Han or Babe, because you're probably just copying and pasting. Especially on Instagram, it takes about 5 seconds to go to their profile and figure out their name. I highly suggest that you do that, because it's really important that, you're sending personal messages and that people know that they're personal. Okay, so if you have no idea what to post about, here's a great social media planner for you. I do best Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I also do good on Sunday nights. Friday, Saturday, Sunday day, not so great. I still post, but I'm not going to do like a massive call to action on a Friday night because people just aren't online. So this is a great planner if you don't know what to post about. And here are my top 5 time management tips. So have a plan and stick to it. Like I said, don't get like the squirrel syndrome. Know what your month is going to look like. Plan it out. Stick to it. Do it every day, every day, every day, every day. Every day. Super simple. But the consistency is so, so, so key to your success. Put the necessary before the fun. So if you love, doing flyers, but you hate inviting, you need to invite first. And on that same note, if you're really bad at something and someone else can do it, outsource it. Like, I remember when I started, I used to see these girls do these amazing flyers, and I'm an engineer. I do math. My flyers look like my dog did them, and they take me about 7 hours each. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So you can use things like Upwork. And my favorite is Fiverr, Fiverr. You can get things done for $5 on there. To me, it's so worth hours and hours of my time, and I didn't even get anywhere with it, right? So I highly recommend that you outsource when you aren't good at something or you need a little bit of help. But I'm not talking about getting like a full-time assistant for, $40,000 a year. I'm talking about like little $5 and $10 projects so you don't drive yourself insane and you're not wasting time. Take your hardships and turn them into success. So what happened to me was terrible. And I have a feeling that no one would have blamed me if I was like, peace out, I'm not doing this. I have a lot of other things to worry about. But the truth is, I was on disability from work, and I needed something to kind of keep me occupied and make me feel like I had a purpose, because I was in the hospital for over a month. When you're in the hospital for a month and, my husband was with me for over a week, but at some point I was like, you have to go back to work. You can't just sit here and stare at me every day. You're lonely, and you don't feel like your worth very much. You know, I couldn't even stand up. I was literally pivoting in and out of a wheelchair to like go to the bathroom or get back into bed. That was pretty much what I did for months on end. And I needed something to know that I had a purpose, and sharing my story and my journey back to health on social media, not only did it help a lot of my followers and help me gain followers that needed to hear, you know, they were fellow trauma survivors and they needed to hear it from someone else. It also was therapeutic for me because it helped me kind of like release and share what was going on with me, which was really important. So what you have going on may not be as dramatic as what I have or had, but telling your story, I guarantee there's someone out there that can relate to it. And I bet you that it's going to be therapeutic for you too. Ashley, what the heck is her last name? I don't know. I can't remember now. She's in the top 10. She did a call, I want to say in February or March, a national wake up call on releasing your gremlins and like how to tell your story, even if it's not a happy story, how to kind of like let them out in a happy, in a good light, and share and have it be good for you and good for your audience, because that's what's going to differentiate you from the 400,000 other Beachbody coaches out there. Like, why does someone want to work with you? Because they know, like, and trust you. So what are you sharing with them that's making them know, like, and trust you or relate to you, right? Think, oh wow, she's going through what I'm going through. So that's really important. And the last thing I'm going to say, which I feel like is obvious, but I'll say it anyway, stop scrolling. If you're on Facebook for 4 hours scrolling, that doesn't count as work. You have to actually like be doing the things that are going to move your business forward. You know, the vital behaviors, really, that is all I'm really doing during my power hour during the week. And I will tell you that I'm home on maternity leave right now. Sorry. And I feel like I have less time than I did working full time. So that's really, like, it's really important that I stay super focused right now. And I'm going to give you a little assignment if Rachel's okay with it. So I want you to know what your calendar looks like. I would say this month, it's the beginning of November. What 3 to 4 groups are you starting this month? And what are you inviting to? What are those 3 to 4 groups? What are you inviting to? And you need to start reaching out. You have to start talking to people. You have to start posting about it. You have to just start in order to really move this forward. But it's important to know what those, like I said, what those 3 to 4 groups are. And I encourage you to have at least 3, a free group, a challenge group, and some sort of coaching group. And if you want to add a 4th in there, go for it. So that's what I have. I will stop the share and grab the chat and see what questions there are. Do I have a group for coaching and then a group for free group? Or yeah, okay. So I have 3 groups. I have a sneak peek into coaching group that's ongoing, but I clean it out and restart it every month. Like clean out the posts, but leave the people in there. I have a free group that's ongoing. I don't clean out the posts or the people, but the first Monday of every month, I have a new challenge. You know, this sometimes it's crock pot, sometimes it's walking, sometimes it's water. Sometimes we did a DIY challenge week, not really like health and fitness related, but just something fun. And then I have a challenge group that's also ongoing, but I start, you know, a new challenge the second Monday of every month in there. I got sick of opening and closing groups. I felt like it was a waste of my time, and this call was all about time management. How do I handle the high stress and how do I protect my time? So I mean, I fit in, like, how do I don't know where Kayleen is, but, I don't know how I work when I work this business in pockets sometimes. Sometimes it's not a full hour, right? Sometimes I have 20 minutes at lunch and I'm going to work. Sometimes I have a full hour and I'm going to work. But I'll be honest and say my job is not 12 hours a day every day. So I can always find at least an hour of time if I prioritize it over other things. Sometimes it means not going out to dinner on a Wednesday night with my friends or whatever. So it's a lot about priorities. And like I said, when you don't do things, I think a it's a relief to say, instead of, like, I had someone talk to me today and it was like, I said, "How are you?" And it was like this book of excuses. And sometimes I think it's just better to say, like, it wasn't a priority for me. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to be like this training, like I said, that I'm behind on. It hasn't been a priority, but I'm not going to blame it on a bunch of other things. I think you'll find relief when you properly prioritize your time and understand that. Does that help? Okay. You guys can unmute yourself if you want.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Did anybody else have any questions? I know that we have a lot of full-time workers here too, so now is your time.
Is this similar to what you guys do, or did you feel like a little bit unfocused?
Me personally, I am very unfocused right now. We got pregnant, and it took far longer than expected. So my boys are both out of school; like, they're both in school now, and I've been sleeping for the past 4 years. So this is all new to me. And so it's definitely it's been a struggle, and this call was really good for me too, because I love that priority thing. Like, this is important to me, and I do need to make it a priority, and I need to stop using ever as an excuse for not doing something. So
And I've definitely stopped doing as many trainings for my coaches, or as many whatever, because I feel like there's so much, like, it's more important that I help them in other ways. And that, I don't know, I feel like, how many push to emeralds do you need to take before you go emerald, right? Like, I think sometimes it's information overload, but we're not actually acting on, you have to do the action items too. So that's really important.
My coach Leslie suggested putting all of the, like, her emerald trainings into an email every month, and that they could just, like, new coaches could just sign up, opt in for the emails, and then once a day the training would just go to their email, which is an awesome idea, I feel like, because I know that when I was a new coach, we didn't, like, the training didn't start right away, but I was, like, online, like, what do I do? How do I do this? And stuff, it was already there. But again, it's just me actually having to sit down and write it all out and figure out what the heck, how do I use MailChimp? And, and I used to think that I was technology advanced, and I am not. So I can't figure out anything, I feel like, now.
I think MailChimp costs money. I'm cheap, so I'll type it in the box, but I use Thinkific.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I have my new coach training, my Emerald training. I have a social media training on there, so they can sign up for anything that they want. But sometimes, so that's why I've stopped doing groups too, because it took up a lot of my time, and I don't think it's any more helpful for my team. So. Yeah. And a lot of people want on your own time. They don't want, like, to be told when to do something. So, yeah. Anything else, you guys? Any other questions? You can always ping me after if you have any. I hope it was helpful. It's about being really intentional and really organized, to be honest, to say, like, this is what I'm doing this week. And it helps me hit Success Club super early in the month, because I'm, inviting to this challenge group super early. Like, I'll wake up tomorrow at 6, and it's the second. Well, it'll be the third tomorrow, but I'm already at Success Club by tomorrow morning. So,
can I ask a question? How long would you say, like, of being consistent, did you start to, like, how long did you have to be consistent before you started to see success? Because I think what happens for me is I, like, will have streaks, and I'll be, like, super, super awesome. And then I'm like, bah, it's not working. I'm done. And
Yeah,
I just,
the worst thing you can do when things aren't working is to stop. That's
oh, I
like
know.
when you hit a weight loss plateau and so you just stop, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. So there are times where I see no results and I just keep going. And I know that sounds really boring and um, not, not exciting, but you have to just keep going. You have to, or else you're going to get into that whole mindset, like I said, where people think, oh, it was just a fad, and then you have to like reprove yourself to your audience, and then you're gonna really have a problem, like, hitting your goals.
Right. I agree, Janine. It's kind of like the well, like when you pump a well and you finally get the water going and you keep pumping, 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 but if you slack off a bit, then it takes so much longer to like get that back up. So same thing. And I know that it's kind of difficult right now. I feel like everybody's in like a rebuilding period at this point. And I think even coming from leadership, like hearing things from leadership right now, it's the same. I think we just stay the course, and it is rebuilding, and we are getting back up to where it was in the past. So if that's everything, then thank you so much, Jillian, for being on. And I'm going to post the recording in our team page, guys, so that you can go back and look. And now also share the link that Jillian gave me of the PowerPoint so you can see all of that as well. All right. Thanks so much, Jillian, for being on. And I'll talk to everybody else later. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
Bye.
having me. Bye.